This is day 6 of making a gorillatag fan game. Yesterday, Mason revamped Spawn because, let's be honest, the one I made wasn't exactly amazing, but I learned and I'm going to improve. So today, I'm going to make a few cosmetics even though someone spoiled one already in the last episode's thumbnail. Anyway, make sure to join the Discord in the description, we love hearing your ideas. So the first thing that I wanted to model for the cosmetics, because I didn't really know what to make, but we had a list. So when I looked at it, the first thing I saw was bucket hat, which kind of struck my eye, so I decided to do it. I do have a little bit of trouble modeling lines and making them thicker. I know there's easier ways to do it. There's a modifier for it, but it didn't work when I tried it earlier. I actually had to attempt this a few times before I finally put it on recording. So this is my third attempt, I think, but here I'm just solidifying it a little bit, giving it some volume. I tried pretty hard to make the band on top symmetrical, carry it, but I know there's easier way to do it. I just kind of didn't feel like it, not gonna lie. Been kind of lazy this day, but here I'm adjusting it because it's gonna go on top of the player's head, so it's a cosmetic, not just a bucket, even though it could be used as one too. Here I start texturing it. It did take me a little bit here, I remember, to find a texture that I liked because you can see a lot of metals. At first I did this really smooth, shiny metal, but that's not really realistic for a bucket. You can see here I adjusted quite a bit. It would work for sure, but I just like things that have a little bit more realism to them. Like a little bit, you see how there's a little bit of dent marks on them? By the way, later on in the video I do readjust it because I don't like how the metal turned out. It kind of stayed in the back of my head whenever I was filming the other cosmetics after this. Here I save it, keep in mind it's not completed yet. I'm just UV mapping it because I kept, rethinking it, overthinking everything, but here I'm adjusting it for the string, which doesn't really matter because it probably look fine either way. Here I actually save it, this bucket hat you can see there. Now I open a new file, as you can see in the list of all of our secret ideas. I saw a straw hat. I did change the straw hat model later on, but see here, I was trying to make a straw hat at first, it's like a flat outer thing, kind of like a sombrero, even though they're not the same thing though, of course. But, it take a while. I try to do a few things to make it have that indentation at the top. It take me a little bit, just kind of forgetting my hotkeys here. A little bit rusty, not gonna lie. Been a long day at school, but I start to figure it out. Start to know what I'm doing. This model I actually really liked. You can see here I put the sides in, which makes it look a lot more like a cowboy hat. So then they kind of just started making a cowboy hat instead because it's a little cosmetic we probably add eventually anyway, so the model looked closer to that. So here I had a little bit, a little bit of buggy stuff happening, but it was all right. It's kind of cowboy hat. I don't really know what it is, but I do like it as a hat. Yeah, it looks like a cowboy hat. Never mind. But I do regret not shading it smooth, even though I could do it, and I probably will eventually. But here, just texturing the band on top and stuff, which I had to go back and redo again too because I didn't do it right the first time. Basically, I put the same texture for the band and for the actual hat itself. So even though I did it in two different areas, when I go to put the texture on, I can't put two different textures, which is what I wanted. Two different color textures at least. This was a pretty fun model to make though. I haven't made cosmetics too much in the past, but I do enjoy it. It's something I've practiced a little bit while learning Blender. You will see me go back and retexture a lot of these models later in the video. It was going to be a shorter video, but because I messed up, I had to fix it. Here's a traffic cone hat. Here I was trying to make the hole in the bottom, but then I realized I kept deleting the plane and not the actual making a circle loop cut. I kind of forgot to make the circle loop cut, so I got kind of locked in on actually making the cone itself. And just bevel the edges, make it a little bit smoother, and then Here you can kind of see that the bottom's a little bit tilted. It's not perfectly aligned. I don't really know how that happened or when I did it. But you know, I made the line in the middle and then I went back to adjust it and it looks fine now. Here I make the same mistake with the cowboy hat while texturing, where I put the same material for everything, not realizing it needs to be a different material in order for me to make a different color on it. Once again, if you have any ideas, make sure to leave them in the Discord in the description. For things like cosmetics and stuff, you know, we have a few ideas, but apart from that, not too much, so you know. I've already seen a few ideas on there, like trumpet, but we're not going to talk about that. Here I export it. And now you'll see that I import the cowboy hat, or not the cowboy hat, the bucket hat, because I didn't like the texture on it. You can see it looks pretty weird, but I know it'll look better in Unity, at least I thought it would. Here I opened the project, finally. I actually didn't have it updated to the last things Mason made. Now you can see that I updated it with all the signs and the shop that was completed. And here I'm positioning them. I didn't record it, but on the platform I also made the thumbnail for this video, so that's why I put all three of them in the scene, instead of doing them one at a time. Here I import all the textures, but you'll see in a minute, this is where I realized I textured them very wrong. And while I could have cut it for the video, I just like keeping this stuff in as a reminder to myself too when I go back and watch them that, you know, I just need to be more careful and not make dumb decisions, you know. That's something I've done quite a few times now. Not even making big mistakes, just forgetting stuff and thinking stuff will work that doesn't, but we learn and we move on, so. The bucket does look a little weird. I will retexture it later. Not in this video, but just, the texture looks fine, I just need to spread it out a little bit. Here, even though it looked like a cowboy hat, I was still thinking of it as a straw hat, so you can see that's kind of why. Now I make it brown, because I realized, but in the thumbnail for this video and the last one, it is yellow like a straw hat, even though it doesn't look like one. I guess it could be, but here I'm texturing a lot more stuff. The bucket I actually textured correctly for the most part, the UV's a little messed up. That's an easy fix, so it's alright. Then I position them. Then this is where I finally realized how wrongly I textured them to where I can't do anything right. As you can see, I'm going to call it Mason now in the left side. He was helping me a little bit because I didn't know what to do, and then he reminded me to flip the normals of it. Which basically means that when I imported the cone into Unity before, you could kind of see through the bottom of it, which wasn't good. Then I finally did everything right. I'm pretty sure. I think I textured it right now, so I can put the right materials on each area. I think it might take... No, I didn't. Yeah, this is the part where I do it. As you can see, I selected different areas and then put in new material for each one. Because even though they have the same material on each area, they have to be different colored, therefore they're different materials. Kinda complicated, but I think you can understand it. Thank you all for watching. Once again, make sure to join the Discord in the description. We love hearing your ideas and taking inspiration from whatever y'all want us to add to the game. Can't promise we'll add everything because that's not really possible, but we'll try to add as much as we can that we think fits the game well. I have made quite a few mistakes this series. I will say I am trying to improve outside, but I'm also not a Discord mod who sits on his computer all the time, so I do have a life outside of this. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.